So what's up guys, and welcome to Ívar's fly workshop. And today I'll be tying a fly that is called Hvíslarinn, or the Whisperer. It looks like this, designed in May this year. And you can tie it in so many variations, without the skull or with the skull, just depending on how you want to, what you want to bait for it. And you can tie it with a plastic skull or a skull that is metal, like a brass skull. The plastic is like this, comes out perfectly, and adding this flash to the body of the fly gives it an absolutely stunning look when it's wet and in the water, and it has a lot of motion in the water. And you can tie them with this artificial material for the body. Mix that with feathers, or you can kind of go any way you want. The most important thing though, that is to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And before we start to tie this beauty, Hvíslarinn, or the Whisperer, I got a friend of mine to try it out this summer, and it turned out to be like a really good fly that caught him already 2 salmons just in a gap of half an hour. I'm using a Trout Predator 605 hook for it. You can use it in the size 1, 2, 3, 4, just whatever you prefer. Originally, I tied this fly on a rather big hook, but you can also take the hook size down. And for this particular fly, I'm using a 6.0 classic waxed Semperfli thread. And but for this size of a fly, like this size of a hook, I'm going to use a 110-year Nano Silk. Simply because you need like some strength on your thread. And there is a story why I decided to tie a fly like this. It is not like an articulated streamer or anything like that. So some people may argue you should keep it on maybe 2 shanks or something. But this version we are tying, it has I already caught some fish on it, and it may be you need like a 7 or 8 weight rod to cast the bigger types of this, but you're just fine with the smaller ones with a plastic skull to tie and cast them with a 5 or 6 weight rod. The color of it, as you showed you with these strung Schlappen feathers, I have to before tying this fly, to save up some time, you make this brush on the feathers. Those feathers are going to be used for the body of the fly, and of course we have prepared them before. This is the ones I will be using, an orange color, or like a fluor orange or sunburst orange or whatever you call them. And I showed this fly on this Semperfli roadshow now in Scotland just last January, and it got like quite a lot of attention on the show. And with the tail of this fly, you can actually choose if you want to go cheap and easy. You can use, of course, a marble tail, but I'm going to use like these feathers for the tail. So it's like a shank length, about around shank length, and it's going to look pretty good. So merge them together, so there are like 4 feathers for the tail, 2 on each side. And to make them like stick together, you can put like a little bit of saliva on your fingers for them to stick together like this. You just lick them simply, and this is going to be about the length of the tail. And we'll tie them in. And you can go so many ways with these. You can go and put some flash in the tail. You can do what kind of ever you want actually with this fly. I like about this length of the tail, but you can make it, as I said, much easier simply to use like a marabou tail. Nothing wrong with that. And we'll tie these feathers in. There are 4 of them, and yeah, the main reason why I decided to tie these whisperers flies is simply because I think it's around 20 bags of Schlappen feathers, 20 different colors, 20 different bags. And they've been laying there for nearly 20 years. So I decided I have to come up with a fly which you use like a lot of Schlappen feathers in the body, particularly to make it very so it has a great motion in the water. And it has to, when the Schlappen and the tail, when it's wet, it's gonna lean backwards. And when it's in the water moving, it has a lot of motion in it. So that is basically how it came up. And I did not catch the first fish on my own fly. That was a man called Hjalti. He lives in the Westfjords here, close by. We sometimes argue on salmon farming and football online. But Hjalti is a good guy, really good guy. So we are often in contact, and he's taking some of my flies out to test them in some places where I'm not fishing. And he took the whisperer fly, actually not an orange type of it, but more like a black olive type of this. So he caught 2 salmons just in a gap of half an hour. One of them like a 2-year-old fish, big. So this fly works, like most of my flies. Since we have an orange color, we will be tying a flassabou in, gold flassabou. You can use the flassabou, of course, you prefer. I'm using a Semperfli, of course. Being a pro team member there, I use their materials, of course, and not only because I'm a pro team member, but also because those are really, really good materials. They're taking, as I've said, maybe in some video before, they're taking fly tying to the next level by the quality of their materials. Since we have like an orange color, like this sunburst orange or fluor orange, I'll be adding in like a red flassabou as well to merge in with the golden flassabou. Both of them are, of course, Semperfli products. This is this fly will take you, I don't know, half an hour, depends on how much you prepare before you tie one. But I would say half an hour, 20 minutes when you're getting up to the speed. And making things go faster for you is to prepare and prep the feathers before you start tying. So I'm taking 2 Schlappen feathers and 1 red feather. Already made the brush on them, and you'll tie them in very tight, and you leave them stems out there. You'll tie all this down, and you will cut the stems just at the end, or even not cut them, you'll just leave them, so it's absolutely solidly tied down. Now comes the fun part, when the colors are mixed together. So you see the blend of the color. It's like, there's a little reddish color to it. And we'll wrap this feather 4 or 5 times forward, touching wraps. And then we'll wrap it here with our thread. And this is important to have a strong thread for this. The Nano Silk is perfect for this job because it's not going to slip away anywhere. Then we'll grab the end of the Schlappen feathers and we'll trim them away. This is something we'll be doing repeatedly, but before we start the next wrap, we will have to brush the fibers of the feather so we make sure it is they're not trapped under something. Hopefully My girlfriend will not call when I'm recording this sound. Anyway, she will be forgiven for that. But then, when we brush the feathers, we'll take all the feathers, get them to lean back, and take those wraps over so they will point backwards. And we'll take really tight wraps on this to hold them in the place we want to hold them. And then we'll start the same procedure again. So there will be like 9, it's like 3 plus 3 plus 3 feathers for the body. And you see in that fly how I blend in something sparkling like the extreme string from Semperfli, which is excellent for this. I like the extreme string because it's soft. It has a motion. It fits very well with the feathers. It depends on how good Schlappen feathers you have, how soft they are. But it's a rule of thumb. If you have softer feathers for this fly, what is basically going on is that softer feather you will get more motion. This is just some golden string I got somewhere. It is not even for fly tying, but gold. I would love to mix gold in the orange, either gold or red, even silver. But we'll use this gold. So we'll take a couple of wraps with them, and for wrapping this in, we have to get them to face backwards with our finger, and we are taking like 3 or 4 wraps on each other so they face backwards, so we get some glittering and glamorous shiny effect in the fly. And then we'll catch the rest of it with our thread and keep on using the same golden part. Tight wraps to secure it in place. And you'll trim it right here. And then we'll start the next process, the same process, just with the feathers. So 3 feathers, 3 or 4, it depends on how really tight you want to have it. And this is the way how we build up the body. And on the darker streamers, which I tie like this, black or olive or something like a peachy colors, or even silver, there you can add like an orange feather in the front. But with this fly, I'm going to use a fried Chenille simply to make the work a little bit easier for us. So we'll mix the fried Chenille in with the feathers. It comes out really cool. So I prepared that end of the fried Chenille. We'll tie that down. The fried Chenille you can get from Semperfli's in, I think, over 20 colors. They have so excellent varieties of colors when they're producing these materials. And yeah, so this fly was basically an idea to use lots of feathers to get rid of some of the Schlappen feathers that have been laying close to 20 years on my table and in my boxes. Always when you're building up a streamer like this, I would of course suggest what we just did, to put varnish on the threads before we start wrapping. That's going to make the streamer much more durable during the harsh terrain here in Iceland. If you're fishing with a harsh backland or land behind you. And yeah, it's going to give the streamer a little bit more lifetime in general, at least. And these the fibers of the fried Chenille we have to comb back with our fingers, and we'll go with the comb into it again. But we'll grab it with our thread like so and take tight wraps to secure it down. But on the other hand, you can tie this solely just with only feathers. You can even skip the glittery thing if you like. You can go, your own ways with this streamer. There are no rules in it. It's just if it's built up like this, then I call it the Hvíslarinn, or the whisperer. And I caught myself brown trout on it. And if you have Schlappen feathers that are short, like have short fibers, then you'll just lower the hook number, like go down to, I don't know, 6 or 8 hook, rather than these bigger predator hooks. And when it's wet, it has actually absolutely great motion in the water, and I highly recommend to have, a couple of those if you are fishing for big fish. Then we'll do next turn. It's gonna be with feathers, so it's feathers. It's called the glittery thing. And then again, this fried Chenille, and then feathers, and then this extreme string. You can, you have them in, I think, close to 20 colors as well. You can trim off just a piece of it. And you can really play around with the colors. Black comes out outstandingly good. If you have black tail, some gold or silver in the body of it, in the tail, I say, just like a flasherpo. Black body, and then you take like a bunch of gold or silver, put that in the body and black over that, and finish it with a deep orange color feather for the gills of the fish. Comes out great. And yeah, as you said, you can take this fly any way you want. I'm honored to tell you guys I have been invited to enter this biggest show in Germany. So if you're in Germany I don't remember the dates, but it is in April. If you're in Germany in April, you can go to Munich and say hello to me. I'll be tying on the fishing show, on this greatest fishing show they have there, and it has 20th anniversary on it, so it's going to be a lot of great tyers around there to see, and it's a big event. And I tied in Tampa, Florida, just like an evening with some tying club there, and then I've been tying with on the Iceland in Glasgow now just last month. It's really fun to meet up with the Semperfli pro team. It was fantastic. We'll secure the extreme string in like this. Couple of wraps, 2 or 3 wraps, and then we will be combing that back just like the feathers. And now we'll have to put some feathers on it. So 2 or 3 feathers in front of it, and then the skull will come on it as well. So we'll take, these are 3 feathers together, and the ends are already prepped. We've done before. They're going to be the last set of feathers for this fly, and we'll tie them in and tie them a little bit back like this. So it's basically what we are doing is we have to keep in mind that we are making like a base for the head or for the skull, and if we use like a brass skull, which we are actually going to use on this fly, you need to keep in mind to have space for that at the very end of the behind the eye of the hook. Then we wrap those feathers like so. It's a touching wraps all the way to the front. One more like so, or about, and we'll catch it here. Whoops, broke, lucky me. Catch it here with our thread and start to make a base. And these fibers that are facing forward, you'll just trim them off. And then we'll brush the fibers backwards, like this. Now what we have to do is we have to measure the skull, like so, because behind the hook eye, we are going to be placing a little bit extra thread to keep the skull in its place. It is very important. And you can use, if you want, rubber legs for the tail or for the body or for the head that are with the fly. You can do like kind of go any way you want with this fly. And then we'll build up the thread base, and you have to go with the thread. Now it comes in very handy to have a strong thread, so it has to be like this. And here we'll build up like a thread base for the skull to sit on. And when the thread base is like comfortable, we'll fit the skull on it, like this. Fine, except we have to leave like an extra space for the thread to hold the skull. So I'm gonna push it quite hard and wig it like this. It's almost too tight wrapped, but then you get this tiny little extra space that we need here. That will fill up with a little bit of thread and then super glue. And of course, before the skull slides on the head, we'll be using a super glue over the thread to make it all stick in place. What I have found out fishing in the highlands with this fly is that if I'm using like a skull that is a plastic, I like that. It's easier to cast and it's not as heavy as a brass skull with the eyes on. But one problem with the plastic skull, if you have like a really harsh terrain behind you, you can easily be smashing the skull, but that is not going to be happening with the metal skull. With this one, this is not going to be smashing or going anywhere. But the plastic skulls, they kind of tend to fall apart, and I will be missing. And so, yeah, my Zappa cap is dry. Fortunately, I picked up 2 tubes or 2 pieces of it in Florida, so in the next videos, soon I'll be opening them. This is starting to look dry. It still works, but it's starting to get a little bit dry. Like this, we coat the head, and then we slide the skull on it, and it's gonna be no problem after that. And it's gonna look very much alive when this fly is wet. So like this, and we'll push it hard on, so there will be like a little bit of space behind the hook eye. There we'll be placing this orange, fluor orange Semperfli classic waxed thread, like this. And we'll be placing it like this and take a few wraps around it so it's gonna stick in place. And we'll make like a little bit of a thread base there, not too much, but enough to put super glue on. And make sure that the skull will stay in place. It's gonna secure the skull. Also, it gives the fly like a pretty cool looking, with this orange small little hotspot in the front. Then we'll whip finish, and we'll place super glue on the knot we are whip finishing now. We have to be careful though, not blinding the hook eye. We'll trim this away, and then the whisperer or the Hvíslarinn fly is ready to go. I just want to say to you guys, thanks for watching the video. You can tie this fly in so many variations, and I will make another video on it soon. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.